Picture yourself in a country where the attractions are as varied as they are excitingly fresh and unspoilt. Uncrowded beaches, tropical islands, colourful and beautiful marine life, spectacular countryside dominated by awesome Mount Kinabalu, the highest in Southeast Asia. This is Sabah, Borneo's paradise. Sabah occupies the top portion of the island of Borneo, washed by the South China Sea on the west and the Sulu Sea and Celebes Sea on the east. The state capital, Kota Kinabalu, is a relatively new town, as the original was destroyed during the Second World War. Close by, the Tanjung Aru Resort, set amidst 25 acres of beautifully landscaped gardens, offers a luxurious start to this wonderful land of contrasts. Eight kilometres off the coast, 5 islands make up Tunku Abdul Rahman National Park. Sapi Island is a small island of about 25 acres. It has one of the nicest beaches in the park, clean white sand and crystal clear waters with coral reef fringing make it ideal for diving and snorkeling. Fish are abundant and often in brilliant colours and stripes. Butterfly fish, cleaner cuirass, parrotfish, clownfish, dragon and soldier fish are common reef dwellers. The 8-striped butterfly fish is usually seen in pairs, yellow with vertical black bands. Parrotfish have colours like a rainbow, mixtures of greens, blue, pink and orange. After the morning spent swimming and sunning ourselves, the picnic barbecue lunch was felt well earned. But 4 of the chaps reckoned they had lazed long enough and decided after lunch to go off and explore the interior of the island. They had been told that there had been trails around the island, but that a freak storm in January had ripped up trees and pretty well obliterated any trace of them. Suffice to say, they got lost. Exhausted by the heat and tangled jungle, when they did return to the beach, they promised never to wander off alone again. It's 4:30 in the morning and we've just had breakfast delivered. Croissants, toast and butter, double eggs bacon. It's incredible. Now the tour begins in earnest, with a flight from Kota Kinabalu to Lahad Datu in the east, then a 3-hour coach transfer deep into the forest to the Borneo Rainforest Lodge. The lodge is designed by naturalists, built with local materials and located in a magnificent setting beside the Danum River in the Danum Valley Conservation Area. The central lodge is a large airy building standing on columns of ironwood with a spacious veranda, dining area and lounge. Made from logs from a local timber mill, the chalets are designed after traditional Sabah dwellings and linked to the lodge by walkways. The attractions of the Borneo Rainforest are subtle. Tree species number over 200 per hectare. There is an incredible diversity of flora and fauna. Orchids, lianas and ferns festoon the forest. Danham observation lists include more than 275 species of birds and 110 species of mammals. However, this is not the African savanna. Local and expatriate naturalists are employed for their wide field knowledge. This knowledge and their boundless enthusiasm combine to ensure you get the most enjoyment from your guided walks. They inform you this is very much a tropical wilderness, therefore you must be prepared to encounter a large number of different insects, most of which are perfectly harmless. Some of the largest butterflies and moths of the world are found here.
Those tickles.
Unfortunately, rainforests are also home to the dreaded leech. They do no real harm, and the guides are keen to assure you that they carry no infections, but it is just the thought of them that makes you shudder. The very friendly tiger leech was to become the dread and eventually a guest on all our jungle treks.
Put it up, Johnny.
You go stand the rain, yeah?
Come in the rain now. Oh. Hey. You look a proper bloody Charlie.
A bit further, a bit further. Carry on, carry on.
The weather plays an important part in what can be seen. The birds and animals have more sense than tourists and take shelter from the downpours. But time is limited and it is not called a rainforest for nothing. Expectation is high as you set off on a jungle trek.
Look, there's a leech. Look, you see it?
From lowland forest up an escarpment trail high above the lodge to an ancient rock-face burial site. Quite a climb in the heat and humidity. In the dry or in the wet, we could not waste this unique opportunity. From 27-metre high walkways giving bird's eye views over the rainforest canopy, or just soaking up, excuse the pun, the sights and sounds. The heavy downpours are ideal time for lurking leeches. Most people get bitten, including the guides. A local remedy of crushed leaves is used to try to stem the bleeding, but to little effect. And just when you think you've removed them all, there is always another attached where you can't get at it. Night drives or walks with spotlights are another opportunity to see species that are purely nocturnal. Birds, owls, flying squirrel and flying frogs are some of the many you can hope to see. When it came time to leave the lodge, we found that the downpours of the previous day had turned the roads into quagmires of mud. Fortunately, at the first hold-up, we were able to get help from the lodge to tow us up the hills.
Never naman to Sundays.
After leaving the confines of the reserve, however, we were on our own and had a couple of hairy moments where a stream had all but removed the roadway. Fortunately, when we got to another landslide, a digger working to clear the blockage was able to tow us through that one. Yep. Bounce, everybody, bounce. Hoping we may at last leave the rain behind and thankfully back onto hard-top roads, after a short break for lunch, we headed now to the lower reaches of Sabah's biggest and longest river, the Kinabatangan.
Nelson Mandela. Hello.
The lodge was described as basic and certainly has no illusions of grandeur. These wooden huts built on stilts are typical to this area and once home to Sir David Attenborough on one of his trips to this region. Flooded many feet by the river in the rainy season, only the main lodge remains out of water. The area is said to have the greatest concentration of wildlife in Malaysia, and touring here is from the comfort of a boat. One of the most famous creatures in this region is the bizarre proboscis monkey. Thanks to their habit of socialising in the trees along the riverbank, the proboscis are easy to spot. Found only in Borneo, the male has a large pendulous nose, fat belly, thick white tail, and a mixture of colours that make him look as if he's wearing grey tights, white underpants and a brown jacket. He's large and has webbed feet, making him a strong swimmer. He's entertaining to watch as he leaps forcefully into space, seemingly without thought of where to land, crashing heavily and with maximum noise into a nearby tree. They share the area with the ever-present long-tailed macaque, wild orangutan, leaf monkeys, and a dazzling array of the most beautiful and dramatic birds of the world. Cruising the swampy backwaters through Oxbow Lakes, now getting clogged by the scourge of backwaters the world over, the congesting water hyacinth, the boats enable the visitor marvellous opportunity to appreciate the number and diversity of animal life that can not only live beside the water, but live in it, easily taking advantage for food or moving around the area. Binoculars are ever ready, scanning the trees for movement, but it is often the still, silent creatures which can go unnoticed. Thankfully, not by the trained eye of Nelson and our local guides. A python curled into the limb of a tree, warming in the sunshine, was just a grey blob to us, who up to this point had not even thought about snakes. Similarly, a racer snake, disturbed for our amusement, would never have been spotted.
Bubut lah pakai bot.
Several species of hornbill inhabit the region, and their raucous call can be heard over great distances. The black, pied and rhino are the commonest. Huge, ungainly birds with a heavy wing beat, distinguished for their very large bill, often with a strange helmet-like protuberance. For centuries, caves in this limestone region, once accessible only by streams off the Kinabatangue River, have been harvested for the valuable edible birds' nests. The most easily accessible Simud Hitam cave, with its roof soaring up to 90 metres high, is just a 10-minute hike from the registration centre.
It could get wet here.
Make yourself balance. Make yourself balance.
Swiftlets, who make the valuable nests, and bats share the caves with thousands of cockroaches and dung beetles that thrive on the rich guano floor. The caves are very dark and there is an unusual pungent odour. We were advised to take a hat, waterproofs, a large handkerchief and a torch. 2 types of nests are harvested. The most valuable white nests, made of pure saliva, can fetch more than $500 per kilo, while the black nests, which consist of hardened saliva mixed with feathers, are more easily gathered. Twice a year, licensed collectors gather the nests in a dangerous operation involving the use of rattan ladders, ropes and poles. These nests are first harvested just after the birds have made them, between February and April. The birds then build new nests which are left undisturbed until the eggs have hatched. Then these are gathered. On to the bustling harbourside town of Sandakan, which was once the capital of North Borneo. During its heyday as a timber centre, Sandakan once claimed to have the greatest concentration of millionaires anywhere in the world. It has always been an important trading post, handling exotic goods such as pearls, beeswax, sea cucumbers and edible bird's nest, and more staple materials such as rattan, timber, rubber, copra and palm oil. Sandakan was made the capital of British North Borneo in 1884 and remained so until its total devastation by Allied bombing at the end of World War II, when the capital was transferred to what is now Kota Kinabalu. No visitor to Sandakan can miss exploring the Central Market, where a fascinating mixture of people rub shoulders as they bargain for tropical fruit and vegetables, sarongs and seashells, spices and sticky rice cakes. The fish market, Sabah's largest, offers a stunning array of seafood. On the edge of the bay, where the town of Sandakan began in 1879, is the village of Buli Simsim. Perched on stilts above the sea, the neat wooden houses of this large village are reached by plank walkways, their wide verandas decorated with pot plants. Flowery sarongs and fishing nets are hung up to dry, and wooden boats bob at the front door. A wander along the walkways or jambatan gives a glimpse of the lifestyle of these friendly fisher folk. Although Islam is the official religion of Malaysia, the constitution guarantees freedom of worship. In Sabah, only around 38% are Muslim, 17% Christian, plus Buddhist, Hindu, Confucianist. The newest temple in the area, the extravagantly decorated Pujishi Buddhist temple, was built in 1987, a stark contrast to the romantic English country-style church of St Michael and All Angels, harking back to the colonial period. Eight tiny islands, dots in the Sulu Sea, 40 kilometres north of Sandakan, are amongst the most important turtle breeding spots in all of Southeast Asia. Recognising the importance of protecting these endangered creatures, Sabah Parks created a marine park encompassing 3 of these islands, together with their surrounding waters and reefs, in 1977. Staying overnight on Selingan Island, where there is accommodation for a limited number of visitors, offers a unique opportunity to experience a true wonder of nature. Because a conservation programme has been in force in this area for almost 30 years, an increasing number of turtles are arriving to lay their eggs, and visitors can be certain of seeing turtles arrive nightly throughout the year. All over the beach, tracks bear witness to the coming and going of the turtles from previous nights. Large craters, their nest sites, dot the sand dunes. It is a rare experience to watch the huge green turtles lumber ashore at night to laboriously dig a hole with their flippers and lay around 100 eggs. She's big, 1 metre long and 1 metre wide over her back hump. A very moving moment. She is oblivious to all around her. The eggs are removed from the hole and we were able to pass them round to feel their consistency. About the size of a golf ball, newly laid, they are like a soft-boiled egg, but quickly dry and harden and feel quite leathery. The laying completed, she refills the hole. Her work is now over and she will return to the sea before dawn. Rangers then transfer the eggs to the hatchery where they are kept safe for the 50 to 60 day incubation period. During the cooler hours around sunset, hatchlings break out of their shells and scramble up through the sand into the netted area. Later in the evening, visitors can assist the rangers in taking the baby turtles down to the beach, where they race for the sea. Only 3% are likely to survive disease and natural depredation to reach maturity. Those females that do survive will return in 20 years or so to the very beach where they themselves were hatched to repeat the cycle.
You look really well, my sweetheart.
He'll be alright regarding that water. You want me to put him down?
You know you're the most... Let's go. Hey, look at that. That's right.
Returning to the hotel in Sandakan for a few hours to reflect and pamper yourself in luxury before setting out again to witness another exciting conservation programme in action. 23 kilometres from Sandakan, the Sepilok Orangutan Sanctuary was begun in 1964 to help once captive orangutans learn to fend for themselves in the wild. These large red apes, man's closest relatives, are astonishingly gentle and highly intelligent. Gazing at visitors with almost disconcerting frankness, it is hard to understand man's cruelty to this wonderful creature. In recent times, orang populations have decreased dramatically due to forest clearing and capture for pets. The animals at Sepilok were confiscated from dealers and private owners, or found wounded after the loggers had been through an area. Only recently, newspapers reported childless couples obtaining baby orangs, shaving their hair and rearing them as human babies. Sad people in a mad world. They are fed morning and afternoon by rangers, just bananas and milk. It is hoped that this boring diet will encourage the orangs to find their more natural diet of fruits and leaves for themselves and wander off into the forest to begin again a totally natural existence. Some return quite quickly. However, a couple of mature females are now so fond of human company they refuse to go back to the wild and are always around the centre.
He's only filled the block. Hey, how much you got left in there, fella? Everyone wants it. Hey, brother.
Đông cái gì đấy. Di con gặp cái gì đấy nó chắc cái gì đấy.
Ta cái gì đấy á?
A full day's drive across the east-west highway to Kinabalu National Park. 754 square miles encompassing Mount Kinabalu, the park is a paradise for naturalists, botanists, birdwatchers, mountaineers, or those who simply admire nature. Tropical rainforest covers most of the lowland areas, which outside the park is cleared and terraced for agriculture by the local Kadazan tribespeople. At its medium level, the temperate zone, or cloud forest, strewn with hanging mosses, bamboo, and a wide selection of orchids, some of which grow only in this region and are very rare. It is also in this atmosphere that the carnivorous pitcher plant thrives on the forest floor. Places in the world can offer such a complete ecosystem in one small area, so it is little wonder that it is one of the greatest attractions of Sabah. Dominated by the jagged outline of Mount Kinabalu, rising to over 4,000 metres, the highest mountain in Southeast Asia, the ever-changing grandeur offers a challenge to the ambitious mountain climber. Regarded by the Kadazan as the revered place of the dead, vast areas of peaks and valleys remain unexplored. Like all great mountains, its mystery comes from the ever-changing weather, one moment sunny and inviting, the next hidden behind a cloud billowing up from the lowland forest. Simple or sophisticated, traditional but definitely in the 20th century, Sabah is impressive, still unique and unspoilt, truly Borneo's paradise.